Oh, yeah, it's go time. You know why you're here. I know why I'm here. It's Friday. It's time for Weighted Opinions, obviously. Today, I am on respect and self respect. Why you're not getting it, and shocker, it's not a mystery. Okay, so like I said, welcome to episode 14 of Weighted Opinions, the show where I put ideas on the bar and see what they actually weigh. And today I am talking about respect, and more specifically, self respect, because a shocking number of people out here are demanding respect like it's some customer service issue while actively disrespecting themselves on the daily. It's a bold strategy. Let's see how that one works out. I'm just going to dive right in and rip this band-aid off, okay? Respect is not automatic. It's not a participation ribbon, and it's not just free because you entered adulthood. And a lot of people nowadays are waiting to enter adulthood until they're in their 40s. So no, you don't get respect just because you're tired, life is hard, your feelings got hurt, or because you posted a stupid quote about boundaries on your Instagram. Nobody cares. Respect is earned, it's not given, and self-respect is the entry fee. All right? If you don't have that, people can smell it like old mayonnaise in the sun. It's gross. Isn't it funny how I say that and you can smell it right now? It's disgusting. Why would I say that? I don't know. Anyways, let's move on. Okay, so first let's talk about what self-respect is not. We'll just clear up some confusion. Self-respect is not being loud. I know. Being aggressive, being brutally honest with no discipline, or flexing confidence while your life is barely duct taped together, even though that's the Canadian way. It's not confidence. That's insecurity dressed up in a shitty Halloween costume. Self respect is quiet. It doesn't need to announce itself, and it just shows up consistently every day without fail. So, okay, that begs the question, what does self respect actually look like? Good. Um, how do we let's sum it up. Okay, self-respect looks boring to people who avoid responsibility. Is probably a good way to precursor it. It looks like keeping your word, like even when nobody's watching, right? When there's nobody to impress, just because you show up for yourself and you honor your word. It's saying no without writing a novel and giving a million crazy explanations of all these once in a lifetime occurrences that happened as to why you can't live up to your word. And sorry, just say no, okay? Walking away from situations that drain you. Sometimes people or different situations pull you away from the true version of yourself, and you do things out of obligation, and then you stick to it because you feel you have to. Yeah, no, just walk away. If the situation is draining you, have the respect to yourself to be like, no, enough of this. I'm out of here. I don't need any of this. And it's not negotiating your standards just because you're lonely and you need more interaction or you're so desperate for somebody's attention or time, right? Self respect is choosing discomfort now so you don't have to live with resentment later. I know, that's a wild concept. Let's resonate and sit in that for a second. All right, we're good. All right, so let's dive in next to why this triggers people. Simply put, because self-respect requires firm boundaries, and boundaries expose who benefited from your lack of them. Right? The moment you stop over-explaining and over-giving and over-tolerating bullshit, you'll hear things like, you've changed, you're being selfish, or you're not as fun as you used to be, sort of thing. Correct, because fun for them required you having no discipline and no standards for yourself. Yeah. So the part that nobody wants to hear then is if you don't respect your time, your health, your energy, or your standards, why the hell would anybody else? It doesn't make sense, right? People treat you how you allow them to treat you, not how you ask them to. You show people how to treat you. And if you don't show yourself respect, why would anybody else, right? You can't demand respect with words while your actions scream, I'll tolerate anything. That math doesn't math, even if you use girl math standards. Yeah, I'm taking shots at you guys too, right? Nobody's safe out here. Settle down. Shut up and listen. Now I'm going to start dropping some nuggets on you that nobody likes and nobody wants to hear, but you need to hear, okay? Just like I say when I'm training clients, it's not what you want, it's what you need. So here it comes, all right? Is that seatbelt strapped up tight? Good. Let's listen up. Self-respect is built in unsexy moments. Yeah, I said it, the unsexy, that's where it's built. It's not built in motivational speeches. I know, okay, relax. It's built when you go to the gym instead of making excuses and you don't hit that cancel for the 4th day in a row. Cheryl. You stop responding to messages that don't deserve replies. Okay? You walk away instead of sitting there and needlessly trying to prove you're right for shit that doesn't matter. And you choose discipline over impulse. That's a tough one right there, because everybody gives in to those trigger moments and those impulsive little desires, all right? Discipline over that long game, you will thank me later. Every one of those moments is a deposit into your bank. And you can feel the balance, all right? Even if you don't know the total, you start to know you're putting more in there than you're taking out, and you know you have wealth, all right? I know, it's pretty deep. So why does respect feel rare now? Because we're confused is probably the easiest way to put it. I bitch and complain about this all the time, but humans suck right now, and we're in a very vulnerable, weird state of floating around and whatever. Different topic, later date. Respect feels rare now because we've confused confidence with arrogance, right? Self-expression with lack of accountability or boundaries, being authentic with refusing to grow. And we tell people they're worthy, which they are or they can be, but we skip the part where your worth still requires standards and you to uphold them. Self-respect doesn't say, I'm perfect the way I am. Self-respect says, I value myself to do better and to continue to improve upon myself, which is a huge, huge, huge difference. Yeah. So, follow along. We got more. Now, here's what happens when you actually build it. When you develop your own self-respect, your standards rise. Your circle shrinks, but it improves, okay? Quality over quantity. Your tolerance for nonsense, or if I'm being myself, your tolerance for bullshit disappears, okay? Your confidence levels out. You're not a nervous wreck. You don't have anxiety. It turns out you just weren't happy, all right? You need to improve yourself instead of feeling like you're not good enough for any damn situation. You stop chasing validation from people that don't mean jack shit to you. You stop having to explain yourself needlessly and endlessly. You stop needing approval from people who don't actually even approve of themselves, okay? That's a big one. And magically, this is the crazy part, as if you pulled some crazy card trick and people are losing their minds, people start actually respecting you more. I know, it's insane. Funny how consequences work, right? Almost like we teach our children that and they learn to adhere to something and they become better people and grow up to be adults. Fucking nuts how that works even with adults and later in our lives, because we're free of our parents' tyranny. I guess we're just done and we don't need to grow any. Oh, wait, no, the same stuff still applies and you can keep improving. Who saw that coming? That's fucking nuts. Yeah, I'm full on sarcastic today. I know. And let's talk about maybe a question next that stings and on purpose. So let's slow it down for a second. I want you to be honest with yourself. If someone lived exactly the way you live, seeing every moment, the behind the scenes, the parts when nobody's watching, the whatever moments that don't mean anything because you can look the other way. If somebody lived the exact same way that you lived to a T, without fail, 100%, would you respect them? Fully and unconditionally? If that made you uncomfortable, good. Yeah, you're growing. That's some awareness. You're welcome. And awareness, guess what? That's where change starts. Yeah, not your affirmations or your manifestations, all right? Like, come on, let's get it together, people. We're fucking losing our minds out here. It's ridiculous. It's time to grow up. Yeah, Let's instead this year, and I've been saying it in my community with everybody, and if you haven't heard it, you will. 2026 is the year I want you to shut up and show up. Okay? And that doesn't mean shut the hell up. I hate your voice for most of you. Kidding, sort of. Yeah, shut up and show up. I don't want to hear it. I want to see it. Okay? I don't want to hear about your goals. I don't want to, constantly have you gassing yourself up and pumping your tires to just fall short and not make the goal. I want to see you achieve your goals. I want to see you level up. I want to see you grow. Show me, right? Shut up and then show up. Because if you keep showing up, you won't have to talk about it. I will see it. I know, another crazy nugget. I'm giving you all this stuff today. It's insane. You're welcome. So there's probably a few of you out there going like, wow, Jared, you're extra spicy today. Who's shitting your cornflakes? Nobody. Cornflakes aren't good for you. All right? And it's not about just being spicy or being upset or being aggressive. This is me leading by example because I'm practicing the things I preach. I'm being firm in my convictions. I have my boundaries. I have my code as a man. And I'm putting these out here because they've helped me level up to the point where I'm at, that I'm now teaching and preaching to others who are leveling up and growing from them. And if my whole community grows up, it pushes me to level up, and then everybody wins. It's an insane concept, I know. But like I said, hopefully your seatbelts have been on this whole time. And if you're still like, man, no, you're angry. Well, yeah, guess what? I'm still over here not caring, because if I could borrow some words from a pillar of strength in our community, our man Bob, that's an ish you, not an ish me, right? Yeah, suck it. Anyways, a few final thoughts here. Respect is an inside job, okay? You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your standards, okay? Just, again, think about it. You can set all these goals and have all this ambition and say, new year, new me, I'm going to be this person. But if you keep trying to drag the old you along, your standards still suck and you're going to fall short of those goals regardless because your standards are no good, all right? So, in short, raise your damn standards, all right? Keep your word. Protect your time. Honor your health, okay? That is such a big one that all of us out here are freaking neglecting. Honor your damn health. Stop shrinking yourself to everybody else's standards or the people around you. Who gives a shit if it makes them uncomfortable or if it alienates you from a group and you have to meet new people along the way? You do you. Make you happy. Nobody is responsible for your happiness but you. And it's not on you to find a partner that's going to fill that empty void in there and make you feel fulfilled and make you happy. That's why most relationships fail, because somebody's depending on somebody else to do the damn inner work they haven't done themselves. Yeah, you want to talk about spicy? There it is. Level yourself the fuck up so that other people can level up around you, and then you can prosper together. It's nobody else's job but your own, all right? Keep your damn word, protect your time, honor your health, and stop shrinking yourself. You don't need to be loud, even though it's one of my favorite things to do, but it's because none of you out here want to listen, all right? Listen and hear, absorb. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to be mean, even though, again, that shit can be funny. You need to, most of all, you need to be consistent. And I'm just joking. I'm not mean for shits and giggles. I'm mean in a joking way, all right? I don't want any bleeding hearts coming after me. So, like I said, I'm going to calm down. I'm going to bring it down. You don't need to be loud, okay? You don't need to be mean. You just need to be consistent. Consistency over everything. It trumps everything else. That is where real respect lives. All right? Good. We're all on the same page. Perfect. I think we're good there. Yeah. Before my blood pressure goes up any higher, right? Yeah, no, I'm good. If this episode annoyed you, challenged you, or it's making you rethink some things, good, because that means it worked. You're thinking, and if you're thinking, you're growing, right? So as always, please, please, please like, comment, share, and subscribe so we can keep telling the truth louder and drown out the nonsense, because there's so much of it. All right? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you all. And until next time, my friends, stay glorious.